Moving on, we have a couple of broadcast videos that we did throughout the year. These news broadcasts were based off of The Great Gatsby and Grapes of Wrath, I believe. We did these in junior year American history course. Thanks to Miss Hale and Miss Rodolph, we had a lot of cheesy broadcasts that we had to make. But this was really interesting to edit from my perspective because it was the first time I was using green screen. So I had to make sure when we were filming, every shot was lit well and everything turned out right for the green screen to work. I will show you Team 4 broadcast.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Clever News. Earlier this week, Franklin D. Roosevelt has been reelected for his third term. No other president has been elected for more than 2 terms. But we are excited to see exactly how this will play out. On the day of the election, we had our news reporter Daisy out on the field interviewing a couple of citizens that were there for the inauguration of President Roosevelt.
Hello, I'm Daisy reporting from the re-election of President Franklin D. Roosevelt here with some citizens that are willing to share their thoughts on this election. Let's see what these citizens have to say about this.
I am very happy that he will be our president for the next 4 years. He has done nothing but good to the country of America. Because of him, I was able to get back on my feet and get my life back together through his Work Progression Association. Because of that, I was able to get a job as a construction worker, to get a place to stay, and I was able to provide food for my family and myself.
I was also fortunate to have a brief interview with the newly re-elected President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Good morning, Mr. President. How are you feeling on this wonderful day?
I am overjoyed and thankful to the citizens that have voted me once again.
What is going through your mind right now, being the first ever president to be elected for the third time?
Well, my original intentions were to not run for president for the third term. George Washington had set the custom of not running more than 8 years or 2 terms as president. My intentions were to hand over all of my government responsibility to someone of power, so then after I had ended my term, I could feel, retired and relaxed. That was not the case for me, unfortunately. Those tasks still remained with me, and after 8 years presidency, you should feel retired and relaxed. And I just felt that I had a bunch of responsibility left onto me. I need to continue to preserve the neutrality, shape our program of defense, and make rapid changes. That is why I decided to run again for president and finish this struggle of employment and wellness.
Can we say that you have expected this outcome?
I can say that the result of the election was not surprising to me. The voters were the one who nominated me for the third term, and before I even thought about running again.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President, and congratulations.
As of right now, we have Daisy at the scene covering the speech being given by Senator E. Ron Johnson. He has a couple of things to say about FDR. Let's take a look. Daisy?
I speak neither as Democrat, nor Republican, nor progressive.
I speak from a full heart just as an American, and I choose in this campaign, but as a man opposed to the third term. I shall preserve which has been most dear to me, my life, my independence, my country's will.
For the first time in the history of the nation, we have a third-term presidential candidate.
This is the greater crisis, and perhaps is far more reaching than any other, for it may mean the preservation of the last fortress of democracy on this earth. I emphasize this is an American crisis alone, and for that reason we must solve it ourselves as Americans. Our American liberty shall not perish from the earth.
With the Army and Navy under his control as Commander-in-Chief and the conduct of foreign relations in his hands, who could ask for more? I but state the fact when I say any president with these great powers can cause himself to be renominated, not once or twice, but as long as he chooses.
With the two-term transition broken down, we have every reason to dread the future occupancy of the White House, limited only by the ambition or the life lieutenant. Wilkie and McNary rouses my enthusiasm and admiration. They have opposed to them almost insuperable odds. Upon all matters, I do not agree with Wilkie nor McNary in this campaign, but if they are internally right upon the great issue and the all-important one of the third term.
Fear not. Fight on. Truth is mighty and it will prevail.
Well, we can tell he isn't a big fan of our president. In studio now we have Chelsea, who's going to be talking to us about President Roosevelt's impact on the U.S. and things that have yet to take place.
Thank you for inviting me here today. As an economist, I am able to see America's improvement through President Roosevelt's lead. We've seen many legislations he proposed that benefited our country, the economy, and its workers. When President Roosevelt was voted into power, he made it the government's responsibility to take care and smooth out our nation's economy.
Would you call yourself an avid supporter of Franklin D. Roosevelt?
I definitely do support our current president, although I wouldn't use the word avid. We still got a long way to go to restore our economy to how it was back then, but looking at it now, our unemployment rate is still at 15%. Comparing that to how it was 10 years ago, it was a lot better. Like I said before, we got a long way to go to become how we used to be.
In other news, we have been hearing that the government has set up camps for migrant workers, and as far as we know, lots of farm workers are very happy about this. We have sent our reporters live on the scene to provide us an exclusive on these camps. Daisy, are you there?
Yes, Kate, thank you. I am here outside of Weed Patch Camp, one of the camps that the government has established.
You hit her too fast. Next time, take it easy. So, what can I do for you?
Hey, you got any room here for us?
How many of you?
Me and Ma and Pa and Al and Roshar and Ruthie and Winfield and Uncle John.
Alright, I'm sure I can fix something up for you. Go down the road, take a right, you'll be in number 4 sanitary unit.
What's that now?
Toilets and showers and tubs.
You got what though? Like running water?
Sure.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Excuse me, sir. May I ask you both 3 questions?
Yes, it's alright.
What do you guys think about the camps the government has provided for you workers?
Well, it's a nice help for a big family like mine and us migrant workers to get jobs. Haven't had running water in I don't know how long.
And what about you, sir?
I enjoy working around this camp. Around here we get to elect our own cops. That stops the prejudice against the immigrant workers.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daisy. Earlier today, we were also able to get a statement from a police officer outside of the camps, and he told us about his take on these government camps.
Hello, Ms. Rockster. May I ask you a few questions?
Ask away.
I'm assuming you're aware about the government camps the government has provided for the workers. What are your thoughts about it?
I think it's plain stupid. I don't think we should be wasting all of our money and resources on lazy people who don't even want to work. If they have all of these luxuries, they ought to think that they never got to work. I just think it's stupid. It seems like there are lots of people opposed to these camps. However, it is also helping our struggling workers. Will this crisis ever fully be resolved? Only time will tell. Tune in to us next time for more pressing news. This is Kate Torres, and Good Morning America. Good morning, everyone. Oh, sorry. Should I just keep going?
Just go.
I was supposed to say Senator Ron Johnson. Earlier this week, President F.D. Roosevelt, is that what it is?
FDR.
FDR.
Wow, that's disgusting. Okay.
It's 4
Cut.
years. What were we going from?
Should I
was
just
gonna
go?
talk,
Yeah,
right?
I'll just go, yeah. We've seen many legislations.
After the stock crash in 31, millions of people got. Wait, is that correct? Is it 31? Election was not surprising to me. So just clap again. Just that. Come on, bro. There's gonna be a big slap in the background. Sorry. Go. I'm not gonna do that.
Hey, gang! Every time it chirps, I'm gonna shake my butt.
Chubbs.
3, 2, 1.
Clap.
Hello, Ms. Rockster. May I
Okay, why?
He said clap.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's plain stupid. What the Dude, every time I to film, all these cars come up. So stupid. Me up the ass. Let's go. Dude, every time. Our bloopers gonna be like.
3, 2, 1.
Wait, I looked happy. Sorry.
It's fine, really.
Let's go. Stop!
Okay,
Okay, what?
we're ready.
For what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Hold on.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm itchy. Sorry. Isn't that paper in the frame?
No.
Okay.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
I've been chewing gum this whole time.
They had gum back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but not newspapers.
Huh? Alright, 3, 2, 1.
You guys can't be laughing while we're recording.
3, 2, 1.
In other news, we have been hearing that the government has. Oh no, wait, I was supposed to start. Okay,
Yeah.
no, it's just fine. It's.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Daisy. Earlier today, we were also able to get a statement from a police officer outside of the camps and told us about his intake on the government camps. It's not intake. Fuck me up the ass. It's take. Okay. Thank you, Daisy. Okay. Thank you, Daisy. Earlier today, we were also able to get a statement from a police officer outside of the camps, and he told us about his intake.
Wait, what are you supposed to be saying?
His take,
Oh.
not intake.
Alright. One more time.
Very happy
Hold
about
up.
this. Okay, no, let me.
It's okay.
We.
Here, I'll just start from your last line, alright?
Okay.
Alright, I'll clap.
The Life and Story of Jose Williams was an amazing film that we got to put together. This was a huge project that took about 1 month to complete, including editing. We used smoke grenades, we used costumes, we used props. This was a really intricate film that we made, and it was the first time I edited using a program that was not Adobe Premiere, because times were not tough. I just didn't have the program installed at the time. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the Life and Story of Jose Williams. I'd like to throw in, for the Life and Story of Jose Williams, this was one of our collaborative films. We did have Sam's group help us with it, and without them, we would not been able to make this possible.
Jose Williams was born on 1926 in Attapulgis, Georgia, to blind parents, only to be raised by his grandparents after the death of his mother. At the age of 13, he was nearly lynched due to his friendship with a white girl. He worked as a caretaker and a farmer till joining the military during World War II. Jose would go on to become one of America's greatest protesters for civil rights in the 1900s. Jose Williams didn't come home to a parade after the war, and he was not treated like a veteran. Instead, he had to continue his fight against oppression, racism, and injustice, much like the kind he fought in Germany. Jose Williams is the perfect representation of what it means to fight for what you know is right when all of society is against you. Jose Williams served in the U.S. military in World War II. He was a staff sergeant. Williams and his whole platoon got bombed, and he was the only survivor. As he was being transported to the hospital, the caravan was bombed, leaving him as the only survivor once again. It took him 13 months to recover, just to go back into a society which views him as nothing more than an animal.
I was deemed 100% disabled by the military and required a cane to walk. My wounds had earned me a Purple Heart. The war had just ended, and I was still in my uniform for God's sake. But on the way home, to the brink of death, they beat me like a common dog. The very same people whose freedoms and liberties I had fought for and suffered to secure in the horrors of war, they beat me like a dog, merely because I wanted a drink of water.
Right after he got out of the hospital from his war injuries, he was assaulted by whites who didn't look at him as a person or by his deeds, but by the color of his skin. He was hospitalized for another 8 weeks, forced to walk with a cane for the rest of his life. In 1963, Williams became one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s most trusted lieutenants in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, earning a reputation as a battering ram for the movement. He helped carry out voter registration initiatives during the 1964 Freedom Summer. Williams and fellow activist John Lewis withstood beatings by police at the Edmund Pettus Bridge as they attempted to lead the Selma to Montgomery March. The events in Selma galvanized public opinion and mobilized Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act, which President Johnson signed into law on August 6, 1965.
This is a copy of his first newspaper. He just put out his own newspaper. He was trying to speak to the nation about poor people. He got one copy out. We've been trying to get a newspaper out for 3 years. We just, got enough equipment. These are his belongings, shaving powder. We had been invited over to a local minister's house for a soul food dinner.
You were just leaving for dinner?
Just leaving for dinner. And he usually walk out a door. He's usually dressed and he usually go, because he's usually always in a hurry. But he walked out there and held over, and the fellow who's been driving us around in Memphis told him, said, "Doc, you better get your coat." He said, "Okay," and he stood up there a minute or two, and I guess just a thing of destiny, I guess, making, he just was a target there for a minute or two, because he was fixing to come back in and get his coat on. All of the side of his face was shot off. But it wasn't long before policemen was all around. Then I wonder whether America had really lost its last chance. This day will be the most unforgettable day in my whole life. It's a day that I still have not believed. I still not can believe somebody's crazy enough to kill Dr. King, who wouldn't hurt anybody, but loved everybody, and really gave his life to the salvation of this nation.
After MLK's assassination in 1968, Jose would become the SCLC's executive director throughout the 1970s, and would win the 1974 election to join the Georgia State Assembly. The most notable protest was his participation in the Selma March to Montgomery in 1965 and his march in Forsyth County in 1987, where Williams confronted the Ku Klux Klan as he led a march of 20,000 people to protest racism in segregated Forsyth County, Georgia. Jose would go on to found the Jose Feed the Hungry and Homeless Food International Aid Organization in 1971, and would continue his humanitarian efforts until he ended his political career in 1994. In 1996, he would march on to the Georgia State Capitol in protest of the Georgia State flag's Confederate markings. Although he would fall short in his endeavors, his impact would be heard 7 years later in 2003, when the change was made to the current design. Though his legacy will go on and inspire others to take action and stand up for what they believe and know is right. History has overlooked Jose Williams' deeds, being far outshadowed by his African-American civil rights counterparts. Jose Williams serves as a reminder to all that through hard work and perseverance, even when the world looks down on you and throws you into the mud, you can still climb back up and rise to the top.
I have a quick video putting together all of the unseen footage from the life and struggle of Jose Williams. Now, this is a mix of the original released film and the blooper reel, and a little bit of the unseen footage that you guys have never ever seen before. I'll get right into it and I'll explain what the heck we were actually doing on half of these clips.
So, what we have here is our product.
Jose Williams served in the U.S.
I'm proud to be right back in my hometown with my new family.
I fucking don't.
I'm an officer.
I'm a private.
He was a staff sergeant.
If you can.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. Oh yeah. It's like sort of.
It took him 13 months to recover just to use him as nothing more than an animal.
I wish I died in the bombing. Wait.
Oh!
I'm gonna come out my.
He was assaulted by whites.
Stuart Little. Ashton.
That's little Stuart. You're actually a girl.
Forced to walk with a cane for the rest of his life.
What the fuck? This is how we paddle boats in Mexico. Let's do that shit. Alright.
I got a little mouse here. A little mouse just for you.
I hate you, Aiden.
Why?
Screw off.
Let's just fucking hurry up.
That made a slap.
You're gonna lay on the brakes? I'm gonna break them.
No, I'm not.
Hello.
Ben's taking off.
He's going really fast.
Oh, I thought he missed it. No, he's not going fast. I just thought he missed the turn. I was about to laugh.
That's what the lead. Oh, Tommy! And this is how 3 teenagers die.
Why the fuck are we so stupid, Noah?
I'm talking about love.
Gas.
Just the smoke through my eyes. It hurts. My eyes. Why? My eyes. Guys. Shit. Toss it, Marcus. Marcus. Yeah!
Williams and fellow activist John Lewis withstood beatings by police at the Edmund Pettus Bridge as they attempted to lead the Selma to Montgomery March. The events in Selma galvanized public opinion and mobilized Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act, which President Johnson signed into law on August 6, 1965.
Stop! That's aiming at me! Stay down! Stay down! Stay the fuck! Alright, stay the fuck down! Stay in the smoke! Are you gonna die? Alright, and... What is next to me? And... Cut.
I said finish.
I'm trying to find something innocent, but there's nothing innocent. I tried clicking off.
I see myself. Hi. Hi. I see myself.
I beat him in the film. Hold that down and get another joy.
What?
Hold this down and get another.
Oh yeah, I see what you're doing.
And then pull that down. Oh baby, a triple.
You can hear Aiden screaming when I hit him with the baton on accident. He's like, ah! Because you hit me in, like.
Since I'm American. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Since I'm American, that means I only pay. I have to pay less. I get to pay less.
So Sam, we're filming a behind-the-scenes segment. You want to have anything to say about the whole filmmaking process in general?
Tiring.
I'm glad you feel that way.
You stole Aiden's answer. Where the fuck is my basketball?
Watch your language, dude.
Planet, that's why. Aiden's playing Movie Star Planet.
What's on this?
On the project?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Filming's pretty fun. It's a pretty good experience.
Okay, Aiden, we're gonna shoot your scene.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the folks back home?
Folks back home. Yeah, I miss my family. We've been out on set for like 9 months. We're actually in Uganda, just for like the realism of, Uganda. I miss my kid.
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in 9 months.
Dude, you're a high schooler.
I'm in character, dude. No, yeah, I do have a kid. He's 10 years old. He really likes soccer. And his name's Tony.
You don't have that sign.
And I made him up.
Let's practice it together.
Okay. So we're doing the behind the scenes segment. Is there anything you'd like to say, you two?
No, let's practice.
Practice. Okay, Sam.
What's the signing out there mean?
That's my line.
Well, it's protesting segregation of standing up to the right.
Well, it's a protesting
Hey, Twin, I'm filming the behind the scenes segment for our film. Is there anything you'd like to say about this?
The whole film?
Yeah, about all of it.
Definitely an experience. Getting into costumes, dressing up as you roll, really puts you in a different mindset, and it just takes a lot for everybody to work together, and that's about it.
Okay, thanks. So hey, we're filming the behind the scenes segment for our film, and you were just wondering if you had anything to say about it, the whole thing, just process in general.
Does this have to be school appropriate?
A little bit.
Okay. Is it going into the end of the film?
It's gonna become a blooper reel for YouTube.
We're not putting this one. Are we putting this on the film?
No, we're not gonna put it on the film. So you can say whatever you want, but it will still go on the Movie Making Club school channel.
Oh, okay. I'll keep it PG. No comment.
Ooh, that's good.
Dressing up in World War II stuff was fun. I love that. We need to do that more often.
Yes, we do. You got any film ideas maybe that you want to put on camera?
On camera? I've had a few. I feel like we could do a horror movie, but I don't know. Maybe we need to get some more props for that. I don't know. I have a few ideas. I'll put them in the docs.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm still cooking up some stuff.
Gotcha.
Got in the pot.
Pretty much that is all what we have not seen at all from the life and struggle of Jose Williams, and there was a couple of scenes in there that were from what's it called, William Lewis Moore, and so not to confuse you guys up on there, but it was great. That film project was awesome, and Noah, good luck in BCT. Hopefully you see this video when you're out, and yeah, we'll make some more films in the future whenever all of us are out of college and everything. Awesome.
Uno, dos, no tres, you hear me? Hey, hey, cost to live like this, you hear me? Uno, dos, no tres, tato.
Moving on, we have San William Lewis Moore. This was a great film that I was a part of. I was in the opening scene, and this was just amazing. The film got submitted to a film festival and won first place. This was one of the better films I was part of, and hopefully you guys enjoy San William Lewis Moore.
Hey you, what are you doing? It's the Wax Only Theater. I'm calling the cops on you. I can help that man back there, but not you.
I believe there's someone in front of me.
What a disgrace. I'm calling the cops.
I'm here to stand in solidarity with the people of Baltimore.
What seems to be the problem here?
These folks won't leave. The speed is for whites only.
Officer!
You want to stand in line with these folk?
Yes, I do.
I see how it is.
I spent that night in jail. I was born in New York, but moved to Mississippi with my grandparents when I was 2. I spent most of my early life there, but moved back to New York when I got older, but things went downhill from there. I started hearing voices in my head, telling me what to do, saying things that I couldn't barely understand. I found myself in such disrepair, I ended up in a mental health hospital. There, I faced discrimination of all kinds. I saw many men break and falter, but I knew I had to be strong. I knew what it was like being attacked for something I couldn't control. And when I was let out, a year and a half later, I wrote a book about my experiences. Ever since then, I've been fighting for what I believe is right, and protesting the only way I know how, delivering mail.
Hey, do you work at the White House? I sure do. Well, could you give this to President Kennedy for me? All right. Thanks, sir. What an oddball.
People called me all sorts of names. They made fun of me too, thought I couldn't make a difference. But I knew the change I could bring, being a white man standing up for colored folk here in America. After delivering letters to President Kennedy and the governor of Maryland, I decided my next protest would be to walk from Shenandoah, Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi, and to the governor, Ross Barnett's office. You see, just a year prior, in 1962, the Supreme Court ordered the University of Mississippi to admit a black man, James Meredith, into their school. 13 days later, Governor Ross Barnett ordered his state troopers to stop the boy from attending. I wanted to give the governor a personal letter arguing for the integration of the South, but everyone begged me not to go to Mississippi.
Look, Moore, I appreciate all the support you've given us, but this is dangerous. I don't want to see a friend like you getting hurt.
Will, you can't go down south. You'll die if you protest segregation.
Honey, please. You're standing up for something you believe in, but walking alone in the South, that sounds dangerous.
But I insisted on hand-delivering that letter to the governor of Mississippi. I wanted that staunch segregationist to change his mind. I must admit what I was doing was quite controversial, but despite their warnings, I knew what I had to do and left for Mississippi. But as expected, I was met with immediate resistance.
Hey, what'd that sign say?
I'm protesting segregation, standing up for civil rights.
Well, I happen to like segregation.
Well, I happen to not.
Well, I think you'd best get out of here. A white man protesting segregation? You better leave.
Despite that harsh encounter, I just kept walking.
What are you doing? Protesting segregation, but I'm taking a break right now.
Is that so?
I gotta deliver this letter to the governor of Mississippi.
That's nice and all, but why don't you turn around? It gets quite dangerous and...
I appreciate the concern, officer, but I feel quite safe on these roads. I should get going anyways.
Hey, you're that Moore guy, right? You're that fella I hear's walking to Mississippi.
Yes, I am.
Name's Charlie Hicks, Radio News.
The name's William Lewis Moore.
Do you think I could get an interview? I think it's a story a lot of people would like.
Well, sure. I don't see the harm in that.
Great, let me get my equipment. Okay, we're rolling. So why are you out here?
Well, I just saw so much discrimination in the world. I thought I had to protest it somehow.
And where are you from? What do you do back home?
I'm a mailman, all the way up in Baltimore.
Well, Alabama's the last place I'd find someone like you. What are you planning to do?
Well, I plan to deliver a letter to Ross Barnett.
The Governor Ross Barnett?
Yes, of Mississippi.
And done. Well, that works out great, thank you. You sure I can't give you a ride?
No, I'm fine. I plan to spend the night at the G&J Frock Stop up ahead. Besides, I plan to send a message.
You sure you're gonna walk all the way?
Yes, I'll be fine. You're too kind.
Well, thank you. Take care, friend.
You too. Sadly, I didn't get much farther than that rest stop.
I finally caught up with you, boy. I had to go home and grab my rifle. I don't like what you've been preaching, boy. All this equality mess. That's it. Wipe that pride off your face, fella. It ain't gonna get you nowhere out here.
Hello, police. Can you check up on Moore? I think he might be in danger.
Jesus Christ. Dear Governor Barnett, do not go down in infamy as one who fought the democracy for all which you have the power to prevent. Would you look at the
in every state of the Union, producing in many cities a rising tide of discontent.
The white man cannot truly be free himself until all men have their rights. Be gracious and give more than is immediately demanded of you. Signed, William Lewis Moore.
I don't want them doing. Hey, just walking around.
No, she's go.
What? Hey, what are you doing? This is Whites Only Theater. Sorry, what's my line?
You don't have They're not saying anything. I believe there's someone in front of me. Here, I did.
What a disgrace, I'm calling the cops.
You're welcome.
It's just,
give me your phone for the line.
it's... Media's pretty hard.
Let me. Hi. My name is Ben.
I'm Austin.
I'm giving Ashton my phone because it has the lines on it, and he wants to look them over.
This is my microphone. I'm just the guy with the microphone, honestly.
This is Tech Liaison.
I'm just the dude with the mic.
I love my barber.
That's all I do here.
I love my barber.
What a disgrace, I'm calling the cops. Cops won't leave, this thing is for Whites Only.
Wait, we didn't start recording. Alright. 3, 2,
1. What's the
I was born in New York, but moved to Mississippi with my grandparents when I was 2.
It's filming now, just go and ready.
Oh, this is so awkward. Okay.
Let's try it one more time.
Oh, I'm so bad at it. Okay. Go.
Hey.
Go.
Hey, do you work at the White House?
Yeah,
it's over. It's over. Good.
Hey, baby.
What an oddball.
Look, Moore, Look, Moore, I appreciate all the... Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
Cause you look so serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Get into character. Act like you're the person. Just don't look him in the eye.
Oh, wait, just get it. Okay, because like once you mess up once, then you just keep. All right.
So don't mess up. Look more.
Are you still recording?
Yes,
Keep recording. Are you recording?
Yeah, we're just doing one long take.
Look more. I appreciate all of this. Fuck, man.
All right. Look at me. Look at me. Go when you're ready.
All right. No.
Sam!
All right.
It's down your throat. I'd like to.
I like to show him enough. Okay.
All right. All right. When you're ready.
Look more. I appreciate all the support you've given us, but this is dangerous. I don't want to see a friend like you getting hurt.
No!
Are you? It's not Marco's fault. I can see why he's laughing. Sam, whenever he's acting serious, he does this.
Not to the ends. The ends.
It's because I'm like about to laugh. I'm trying to hold it in.
We should make a mocky.
Let's go. Let's pack up. Let's pack up.
Will, you'll be killed if you go down to the south. Protecting segregation is not allowed.
Let's keep going.
We'll keep doing more. Yeah. Right. Will, you'll be killed if you go down to the south. You can't protest segregation. Will, you can't go down to the south. You can't protest segregation. Will, if you go down to the south, Will, you can't go down to the south. You won't be able to protest segregation. Will, you can't go down to the south. You can't protest segregation. Will, if you go down to the south, you won't be able to protest segregation. Will, no, south.
Will, south? No.
Honey, please, you're standing up for something you believe in, but walking alone in the south.
That was me. That was me. All right.
Hey boy, what are you doing?
No, we're doing all of your lines in one take. Oh. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
I was confused. I was like, why are you talking back? What are you doing?
What are you doing? That's so. Alright.
What?
Yes, I am. Delivering a letter to Governor Barnett. Cut.
Take off. Great. Let me get my equipment. There's a house right there.
So start. I'll be
oh,
here.
you don't need to do that. I'm
Then
more
you'll be
recording.
the one behind the camera.
Except me.
We know that exists the Trump.
Fire!
I finally caught up with you, boy. I had to go home. It's all opposition.
Here, Trump accidentally fucking was like, so he was like, you can't have done that. I become the monster. I can't control it now. I become a monster. I'm ready. Jesus.
Take them on.
3, 2, 1.
Wait, what was it?
That's it. What that?
I stuttered.
Fuck you, mom. Fuck you, mom. I should eat you, mom.
That didn't sound right.
I become a monster.
Hey, wait, turn into Charizard and start beating the shit out of me.
No. I become the monster.
Are there like headphones you can like wrap around your neck?
Ben, what do you have to say?
My best friend went to LA and he never came back. I don't know what happened. Attention, I need the police on this.
On what? All right.
Jenga pieces on the floor.
I'm turning off the mic. I'm turning off the mic.
Was it
Shut
more?
up. Breathe it again.
Was it Mud Boy?
It was.
More.
Well, this is a
Born
dead
from
person,
ash
guys.
and mud.
This person died.
Oh, I thought you were more.
Go.
Hello, officer. Can you please check up on that Moore guy? Oh, wait. Moore guy? Okay.
3. Stop, guys! I'm fucking joking. Well, 3, 2, 1.
The white man cannot truly be free himself.
All right. Wait. No, we're going out. We're going out. We're going out. Just hold those up. Hold those up.
That wraps up junior year. This is when Movie Making Club was at its peak. And it still is. I mean, it isn't anymore because we're all gone. But this was where we really expanded our audience and how everybody was viewing us with our films, because we were making these awesome professional films at this time. Professional. But this was amazing. I'd like to say thank you if you stuck through the whole video. I would love to thank everybody who was part of Movie Making Club and all the film experiences. If you guys want, leave me feedback. I really need it. Thank you. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow.